For the record, the name of this person will be redacted for privacy and other reasons. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, dearest.
Hello.
I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you went through and your experience with what we're talking about.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So there's 12 questions in all, so we're going to start with the first one. When did you first try marijuana?
I was 16 years old when I first tried marijuana.
Okay.
And it wasn't until like a couple years later, around 18, when I became like a regular or a semi-regular user.
Okay.
And a couple years after that, around 20, was when I was like a very regular user. So it was like a gradual thing. But
Okay.
yes, 16 was the first time.
Okay. So when you first tried it, how did it make you feel?
When I first tried it, I actually did not enjoy it very much. I was very paranoid, but I feel like that could have been just due part to the situation I was in while I first tried it. But each experience after that just got progressively better and better.
Okay. The third question, have you ever felt like you couldn't function without marijuana?
Yes. There was a time earlier this year, and I was just super stressed. I just broke it up with my boyfriend, and I was starting a new job, and that was just stressful in and of itself. And so I was very sad and stressed all the time, and I feel like in order to be able to calm down at the end of the day and be able to function all right the next day and even be able to sleep, I really just had to smoke every day in order to be able to actually feel normal. That happened a couple of times before this couple month period where I was smoking every day, where I would just feel out of the ordinary. And honestly, I would feel high when I was sober, and I needed to get high to feel normal again. That would happen several times before this incident as well.
Got you. So when did you start to realize that you were dependent on the substance?
So this was probably during that couple month incident that I had mentioned before, when it had been like several weeks into this, and I was still needing to smoke just to fall asleep. Even if it was just a little bit, I still needed it in my system just to be able to fall asleep. And so that's when I really had to be like, whoa, you do kind of smoke a lot. And I knew that it had gotten bad at that point because I do not have an addictive personality. I really don't get addicted to things very easily. So noticing that I had become dependent on this substance was kind of a redder flag than usual for me, because it had taken a lot to get to the addiction stage.
Mm-hmm. And you did answer this previously a bit, but I'm hoping you can expand on it a little more. So what period specifically did you depend on it the most, and what were you going through at the time?
So the time where I depended on it the most, I feel like the period in time where I really feel like I couldn't live without it, like not only couldn't function without it, but I could not live without it, was at the beginning of that several month period. I had mentioned that my boyfriend and I broke up. It was very heartbreaking for me. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But I just felt like I had emotionally hit rock bottom, and I needed something, anything, to be able to make me feel any other way, and maybe just put me to sleep so I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So did you end up getting help? If so, how and what happened?
I wouldn't say that, well, I didn't get professional help, I will say that. But I think what really helped me is, one, having friends that knew the situation that I was going through, and them being willing to be present for me, both like emotionally and whatever, but also like being aware of when I was starting to use again, so they can, you know, keep an eye on me and also, you know, like encourage me to not do that anymore.
So having a support group around you,
yes,
really helped.
That was the most helpful for me.
Yeah. So what made you choose to not get professional help?
That's a great question. I feel like I hadn't gotten bad enough to seek professional help, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm not like an insane drug addict. I don't need to go talk to anyone about this. I can just rely on myself and people around me to help me out of this.
You didn't think it was
So I didn't think it was serious enough because, I mean, I had received professional treatment for other conditions in my younger years, and I didn't feel like this was, you know, bad enough to receive it. I mean, like, looking back, I always tell people that if you feel like you could use emotional and you would benefit from professional help, you should do it, but I just did not listen to my own advice.
So what was the recovery process like? Did you have any withdrawal symptoms? If you did, what were they?
Yes, I definitely did. I remember at the beginning of this new semester, so my summer job had ended, so that initial stressor was gone, and I was able to settle back into my normal routine. And so I thought, hey, it's going to be easy to not need to smoke all the time because I settled into my usual self and I have more distractions and things like that.